Hello, you limp dick scallywag motherfuckers. Good morning. I'm live from the office pod right now. We are in the office. We're corporate. We're battling through Wednesday, June 11th. We can't miss the stream. We got happy hour tonight. We can't miss the stream because there is a very big and important golf tournament today. What's up, bitches? Yep, I got to make sure sometimes, just so you remember the office pods. They are soundproof, but I think I said limp dick scallywags and somebody walked right by me. I do think they're soundproof. Hello. Okay, yeah, I think they're soundproof. I haven't done the stream from one of these in a very long time, so I was just making sure that everything was sealed properly. I do have people walking by me left and right. That's all right. We're just gonna power through. So hold on. What does this say? DGen. I'm also wearing a Goodwill polo to the office. It does indeed fuck. Let's go. This is actually not one of my Goodwill polos. To be fair. Can you see what it is? Is it J. Crew? What is that? Anyways, I think it's probably J. Crew. It's a little tight on my biceps. I don't think that's really a good look anymore. The loose, baggy look, my wife says, she's like, why do you always wear small shirts? I'm like, they're not small. I'm just fat, and I think they shrink over time. Anyways, we got a big golf tournament to talk about. BK is in Chicago. So we have his trusted advisor, I would say number 2 man in charge, Kyle. You know what? I just realized I don't know Kyle's last name, but that doesn't matter. I think I have him stored on my phone as Kyle Galf. So I'm just going to give you a quick little intro on Kyle. Okay. So, you're going to be, in my opinion, you're probably going to be listening to one of the more intelligent golf people that I've ever had on this stream, and I'm not trying to fluff him up or anything like that. But BK, and not to say BK is stupid, okay? Not to say BK is stupid, but BK is like, I think BK obviously clearly knows ball, and that has nothing to do with him not hitting a golf outright this entire season. He does know ball, he does know golf. He's like an encyclopedia. I think that Kyle is probably more of a numbers guy, more of a data golf guy. Maybe a little bit more chart driven, model driven. I could be wrong. But when you hear Kyle talk about golf, I think it's probably going to trigger something in your brain that you don't typically get on this stream, because it's like the smart person side of capping golf and capping sports. Okay. So I just wanted to give people a quick intro. Does Kyle still tell us zero chance winners? We're going to find out. I think Kyle might be a little bit nicer to some golfers and saying, like, you're not going to give them a 0% chance, but maybe he will surprise us with some of that too. Is Kyle in his car? Actually, no, Kyle is not in his car. Kyle has a real job per BK. So he can't just wear a fucking sweater into work. And no, I'm not wearing a Goodwill polo to my actual office, although I would not be opposed to it, but I don't have the balls for that yet. What the actual fuck are you talking about? I think everything I've said has been correct. What's up, Reggie? Good morning, everybody. No shot Kyle has a winner. Well, there's a higher chance that he has a winner than BK. Okay. And I've done what I could do this morning and last night and trying to cram as much golf talk and research as I could, but there's a lot to be said. So I'm going to bring Kyle up. And we're going to talk about the course. We're going to talk about the U.S. Open, and that's how we're going to get it started. But obviously, I want to give you a little quick intro first and also let people kind of trickle on in here. Lieutenant Goose with a sub bang, 19 months. Appreciate you. No, 28 months. You've been here for a long time. Okay. We know you like Connors this week. I fucking hate Connors this week. Brian told me it was Justin Rose. He always says it's Justin Rose. Kyle, good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, sir. Fellow corporate kind of lifestyle today. Sadly, coming to you from the office, but glad we could make it work. Appreciate all the kind words. I am way smarter than Brian, so you were right when you said all of that. But no, I'm joking. But I'm excited to chop it up with you. I love talking about golf, specifically the major championships. I think this one's one of the best. So excited to go.
Number 3? Is this number 3 or number 4?
This is number 3 of the year. Okay. So we still have the Open in Ireland this year, which is at a beautiful course. One of my favorite Open Championship courses actually this year. And I think Oakmont, in terms of, U.S. Open courses, I think you talk to a lot of golf architecture nerds, and they would tell you that this is at the top of the list in terms of U.S. Open venues. So kind of asks a lot of questions, which I always like. There's not necessarily one answer to the question, I think, at Oakmont, which some of these other U.S. Open tracks call it, Pinehurst, or not Pinehurst, Torrey Pines might be more one dimensional. I think you can kind of get it done a lot of different ways here. So,
I to my understanding, I mean, typically with a major championship, it's always a more difficult course. This what I've been gathering is Oakmont, that's the name of the course this weekend, is like the most difficult that we're going to see on tour. Is that correct?
Absolutely, this year will be the hardest course we see, and I don't think it will be particularly close.
Wow. Okay. Why is that? Was that by design, or is that just kind of how, like, is every US Open typically the hardest course of the year? Is that what they try to do?
Yeah, I'd say in the recent years, it's gone the direction of more of a scorable, if that makes sense. Like it's not as tough in the past if you look at the aggregate scores over the last few years, and that's partially to do with where they went in terms of courses. Like LACC, I think the winning score got to -10. That course is, I think, while it's it's a top 50 course in the world, it's an incredibly difficult test of golf. It's a lot more forgiving off the tee. You could kind of spray it at LACC and some other US Open venues, which I don't think you want to be doing this week. Like total driving to me is like probably the number one thing I'm looking at is, everybody's like, oh, you have to be long or you have to be straight. To me, like it's a one or the other. If you're long and straight, that's great. If you're long, that's great. If you can hit the ball straight, that's great. I just think you want to be in the fairways this week as much as possible, or you want to have your ball as close to the green as possible. The greens on this course, by the way, just quick aside, was when it was designed to be the hardest course in the world. That was the intention of the course architecture when it started back in the world. That was the intention of. And these greens, most golf architecture people will tell you, are the toughest green, some of the hardest green complexes you'll see. So that is what makes the course difficult, on top of the fact that the rough is starting this week at 5 inches, where typically you start at 3.5, 2-inch rough, right? So they're starting the rough at 5 inches. They'll cut it probably tonight, and then they'll let it, I think they actually mowed it. So don't know if they'll mow it again or not, but they will not mow that rough the entire week. And it's deep to the point where you have to take your medicine a lot of times. Like guys will be missing in the rough and will be punching 20 yards out, if that makes sense. They won't be, and there will be times where you can catch a good lie and you can advance it to the green, but there will be a lot of times this week where guys are hitting it into the rough and they won't be advancing it more than 50 yards. So those are kind of the big things for me. You want a guy who's a good total driver of the ball. You want a guy who, if he's short, can make up for it with his long irons. And I think that, you want a guy who, it's like, what do you want? You want a guy that can do fucking everything. Like, that's what I think is kind of funny about golf handicapping is like, yeah, if you're great at everything, like you're obviously going to do well, but those are just kind of the skills I'm looking at, right? Like, are you a good total driver of the ball? How are you in terms of your long irons? Can you get it up and down from around the green? It's also like a very big mental test, probably the biggest mental test of the year. So to me, it crosses a lot of guys off, whereas other tournaments you maybe don't like cross half the field off. I don't think as many guys can win a US Open as a PGA Championship or an Open Championship, me personally.
So, okay, I'm going to ask you about a couple guys.
Yep.
Typically, I'm assuming you probably watched when BK comes on and how we do this with BK. I obviously want to get your card, but before that, I want to just run through a few guys and let me know what you think about him. I'm going to give you the one who I feel like is the most popular, and that's Bryson. So I feel like everybody, and I'm not here to say popular golfers will not win, but it sounds to me, from the short amount of research and listening that I've done to the streets, Bryson seems to be the guy. I think it's probably the course fit. Like, as you just talked about, you want total driving. So we know that he can fucking bomb it off the tee. And his short game, I guess, is pretty good too. So clearly from what I've taken away is like from the tee is more important than putting and short game. So we're not looking for a fucking Denny McCarthy here. Are you going to be on Bryson or do you at least like co-sign the Bryson hype?
I do co-sign the Bryson hype. I bet Bryson at 12-1 as soon as the PGA Championship finished, when he finished second. From my eyes, Bryson played out of his mind, minus his irons at the PGA Championship, and basically walked his way to a second place finish in my mind. Mm-hmm. Similarly, last year, Bryson second place, and look, this doesn't mean anything, but similarly last year, Bryson top 10's the Masters, second at the PGA, wins the US Open. This year, Bryson, top 10's the Masters, second at the PGA. Doesn't mean he's going to win the US Open, but I think people would tell you that this is actually a even better course fit for Bryson than last year. Most people who are quote unquote ball knowers. And I think that's because he can separate so much so with the driver here. And what's really interesting about Bryson is he's never been a guy who previously he hasn't been this guy who's a great around the green player. I truly think he's developed into one of the better around the green players, and he's one of the best. Underrated thing with Bryson is he's one of the best putters in the world. So I do like that combination. People are comparing it to Winged Foot. A lot of smart people who I trust, the number one comp course people are giving is Winged Foot, which Bryson, ran away with of the field. I also watched, and look, this doesn't necessarily mean anything. Bryson did a video Bryson played in the 2016 US Open. He finished 16th. This was a totally different version of Bryson. Bryson at one point had the lead of the tournament at Oakmont when he played in 2016. He did a practice round video where he went to Oakmont and had his whole squad out there, his caddy, his camera guy. And he was playing probably in 65-degree weather, wind, whipping, rain, cold, and he shot even par. So all things to me to say that I think Bryson will absolutely be a factor this week. And he is the guy I decided to start my betting card with.
So you got him at a very good number. Humble brag on the CLV. Very nice.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the odds board right now. Scotty is plus 280. Bryson 7-1 on FanDuel. The next guy is Jon Rahm, who I actually thought, when I'm just like not even really looking at the board, not analyzing anything. And again, I'm no fucking great golf bettor as of the last year and a half. But when I was in my bag, I would just start to envision, like, who do I see emerging to the top of the leaderboard at a place like this situationally? And I have liked what I've seen from Jon Rahm. I thought I was going to be cheeky with Jon Rahm because I feel like for the past few, majors, right, which is what he can compete in, he wasn't super popular, but he's starting to get more and more popular. And maybe that's because he's been playing really well on LIV, but he's also starting to compete a little bit more with these majors. I am surprised it's nowhere near like the Bryson, it makes sense. And you got a good number. He's moved 5 cents. I'm surprised that Rahm is as popular as he is. And I do think I might get there with him. I'll talk about Rory next, but what do you think about Rahm?
Yeah, I like Rahm, specifically from a course fit standpoint. Wow. Brian will laugh at me, but I have to
this week.
Yeah, he is. And I'm maybe different from, like, I make all of my bets, which is different than Brian. I make all of my bets Monday morning, crack of dawn. I don't like letting people sway me. I don't like looking at most tipped and getting me off a guy. I want to pick my own losers, right? Like, I want to be the reason I'm making the bet. I don't want other people being the reason I don't make the bet, or outside factors. Like, if my stats and what I'm looking at tell me the golfer has a good chance to win, that's how I want to bet it. So, and I do think you get a lot more popular winners at major championships for what it's worth. I really do think that. I think Rory was the golfer who made the most sense at the Masters, right? I think Scotty probably made the most sense at the PGA with the form he was coming in with. So a lot of times these more obvious golfers at the majors, at least to me, that's not a reason to get off of them. Rahm has won the US Open at Torrey Pines, long, difficult, heavy, rough golf course. Similar agronomy, because I think that the greens this week are a mix of bent and POA. And POA is typically what you get on the West Coast, where Rahm won it at Torrey Pines. But Rahm, what is very interesting to me, and I'll tout my playing this golf course on the sim, which I like to do for some of these courses, just so I can get an understanding of what I really think is important or not. This golf course absolutely favors a left to right shot shape off the tee, in my opinion. And I think that that's a common opinion among a lot of golf, people out there that are analyzing the golf course. And Rahm has an absolutely majestic left to right ball flight off the tee, right? So I love that as a starting point. I think if Rahm drives the ball well this week, which he's been doing for a while now, he's really going to have a good chance to be in it. And I do like the number you're getting him at, right? So when I made the bet, Bryson was 12, Rahm was 14. So it wasn't like as much of a decision for me. Like now, if Bryson's 7 and Rahm's whatever he is, 12 or 14, it's harder to bet Bryson and have a full card this week. You kind of have to. You can probably bet Bryson and bet one guy down the board. But if you bet Rahm, you kind of give yourself a little more room. So it's just card construction, what you want to consider, all of that good stuff. But I do like both Rahm and Bryson. And just in terms of what makes the most sense, those two guys do make the most sense to me. I did not bet Rahm, but he was definitely somebody that was considered this week for me.
Makes a lot of sense. That was very well put, by the way. I got to talk to you about Rory. And now this, just as surprised as I am to see Rahm, I didn't know he was most tipped. Like I figured coming into this, people would bet Rahm. I didn't think this many people would bet Rahm, but I'm with you. You said it, and I have been saying it, and I've always been kind of the contrarian guy. And every time I see everyone on, and, I just got fucked with Pendrick last week. Like there was no shot in the world. Everybody thinks Pendrick's going to win a Canadian Open and that he was actually going to follow it up. But there have been plenty of times this year. The obvious guy, the popular guy, the last one I remember was Minwoo, does come through. So I agree. It wouldn't scare me off in any sense. I think I'll probably get there with Rahm or Rory. I feel like it's a contrarian play. I don't understand this. I've seen, and guys I like, I don't know if Ian McMillan's in here. I'm a big Ian McMillan fan. He talked about Rory missing the cut. I heard another guy talk about Rory missing the cut. I have to know, don't sell me on Rory necessarily like you did with Bryson and Rahm. Why are people fading Rory?
Yeah. So, I mean, his last two starts, he did not look good whatsoever. And on top of not looking good from a golf standpoint, I think from a personal standpoint, he also has, and some people might, I know Brian's kind of a Rory guy. I'm not as much of a Rory guy. It was great to see him win the Grand Slam, but I'm of the belief that he is somewhat of a child at times and can be a little petty. And at the PGA, I don't know if you heard the story that he blew off the media 4 days in a row. Blew off the media 4 days in a row after winning the Grand Slam, right? So he's coming into the PGA Championship as the Masters champion, the Grand Slam winner. Everybody wants to talk to Rory in terms of the media. He didn't talk to them for 4 days. Why did that happen? He had a non-conforming driver at the PGA Championship, which basically is like if you know lacrosse, which is what I am, they do a stick check, right? And they check to make sure you don't have like anything that's giving you an unfair advantage. They did that with Rory. Rory's driver before the PGA Championship, he had to take it out of his bag. The driver that he used to win the Masters, by the way. So he took that driver out of the bag. He had one of his worst driving weeks at the PGA. He then used the same driver, which is the 2.0 version of the driver he's using this week. He used it last week. He shot like a 80 on Friday at the Canadian Open. He was like +9. He missed the cut by a wide margin. He had press this week. He switched back to the driver that he likes, and people were asking him what type of driver are you using, and he said, I'm using a TaylorMade driver. And they said, what design? And he said, you could come and find me out on the range and look for yourself, because he didn't want to say that the 2.0 version of the TaylorMade driver he doesn't like, because he's a TaylorMade spokesperson and he doesn't want to spread that mumbo jumbo out to the rest of the public, right? So he's using the 1.0 version of the driver he used at the Masters, but a conforming version of it. I think that in golf, generally speaking, there are times where you buy low on guys, right? And maybe it doesn't make as much sense. Look at Victor Hovland this year when he won his tournament. Zero form whatsoever. 80-1, probably didn't deserve to be 80-1, even though he was playing like an 80-1 golfer. Comes out, flips a switch, wins the golf tournament. So in terms of buying low, in terms of making the bet, Rory is the best U.S. Open golfer over the last 5 years. If you're not counting wins, if you're just looking at like total strokes gains and where he's finished, he's one of the best, if not the best, U.S. Open player over the last 5 years. So I think buying on him at 16 to 18-1 is intriguing. To me, it is one of those, it's one of those, obviously, like you're justifying the bet by saying Rory is objectively better than this number, right? Like Rory, maybe he's out of form, but he's 16-1. And the whole year, by the way, Rory's been, up until these last 2 weeks, I think most people would tell you Rory's the second best golfer in the world, right? So I don't think he should have drifted as much as he did personally. So I totally condone the buy low of Rory. The only thing I'd say is, like, to me, when I make bets at the top of the board, I'm less willing to, like, if I want to make a bet at the top of the board for a guy I know that will be there. And it is, to me, a little bit weird how Rory's been playing since the Masters. And you do a lot of times get these Masters hangovers. Even the quotes he's given out where he said, I don't feel as inspired to pick up a golf club as I was before I won the Masters. There's a
He
lot
said
of
that?
yes, legitimately verbatim said that. So there's a lot of things, to me, like you are buying low, but you're still paying a big price to bet Rory is all I would say. So
Yeah. Okay. Good point. When I sent a tweet. I don't know if you saw this morning. It was with a picture of Warren Buffett, and I was like, I feel like everybody's out on Rory. That's probably the time to buy. That was before I looked at his number. I was still expecting the plus 650 or something. I'm shocked to see him in the double digits. Shocked.
yeah, I mean, to me, he should be basically the same number as Bryson in my mind. Like, I'm shocked to see him over Rahm. Like, that to me is crazy that he's, even with how Rahm's playing versus Rory. I mean, if you take out the last two starts for Rory, he's legitimately the second best golfer in the world this year, and it's not close.
Yeah, I might have to do it. All right, I'm going to give you a handful of guys. Just tell me your thoughts on Xander, Ludwig, Morikawa, Niemann. A lot of hype on Niemann. I don't know necessarily coming into this tournament, but just in general, he's been really good. I love Niemann. You know where I stand on Morikawa. BK hates Ludwig. And Xander's a dude where I can't really figure out, but it's probably signs are pointing in the right direction for him. The books have been respecting him since he came back from his injury. So between those guys, is there anybody that you would put at the top?
Yeah, I think for me, it would be Ludwig Collin. I don't think Collin's going to win, but he is a guy that has that left to right shot shape. He is a guy who has 4 straight top 14s in U.S. Opens. I do like the course for Collin. And I think Ludwig has started to, as a stats nerd, like Ludwig a few weeks ago, if you looked like two, 3 starts ago, he was losing on approach, which I don't like to see. Like if you're, to me, like, I want a guy who's hitting the ball off the tee well and hitting approach shots well. That's the most important thing to me, and the most important thing to most people who are betting golf, right? Like, you want to see your guys hitting the ball well. Ludwig, call it, before the last 2 starts, was not hitting the ball well, specifically his irons. He's gained off the tee and on approach his last 2 starts. I think he's got 2 top 16 finishes back to back. And if you're telling me it's a course where you need to drive the ball well, he's maybe, he's probably top 5 driver of the ball in the world. He hits it long and straight, right? He's got that combination of what I'm looking for. What would worry me with him is the around the green game. He is a little bit, I think that's where he gets in trouble. He plays really quickly, and I think sometimes he doesn't give himself enough time to focus specifically on the chips, which I think you actually need to take more time with, specifically on courses like this. But I could see Ludwig winning this golf tournament. Personally, Collin, I have a harder time seeing winning it, but I do think he could compete. Xander, to me, just still feels a little off. Just still feels like he's not the Xander that we were dealing with last year. His drive, he's gained distance with his driver, but his accuracy has been very down this year. So I'm a little concerned now. To the caveat to Xander is he's another guy. If you look at his U.S. Open finishes over the past 5 to 10 years, he's like a walking top 10. But that's kind of my thoughts there. I actually don't like Niemann. I like, but I feel like you're paying a big number for. He's in incredible form. He finally got a big finish at a major. He doesn't really have good U.S. Open history, which is something I do like to see at the U.S. Open. I think certain guys play these courses, these USGA setups, better than others because it's so firm and fast, and you have to be more delicate with your touch. If the number, I don't love the number on Niemann, and I don't love, generally speaking, this year. To me, the second tier has been a very mediocre tier this year, if that makes sense. I don't think a lot of second tier guys have won the golf tournament, right? So I'm taking the shot at Bryson at the top of the board, and I'm kind of skipping my way down a little bit. I think you'll like some of the other guys I'm on, but that's kind of where my thoughts are at.
So, okay, let me give you another pool, and then I want to hear your card. So the next wave of fucking losers is Shane Lowry, Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, and of course the Tommy Fleetwood, who for some reason I still see all over people's betting cards. that guy is not winning a fucking U.S. Open. I'm sorry, he's just not. But the other guys, JT, Cantlay, even Lowry. I mean, Lowry's kind of always around this number. And Cantlay, like the disrespect on Cantlay is just getting crazy. I'm getting a little intrigued and a little tempted. So between this pool of, again, losers, who would you go after?
Yeah, I do think Cantlay, a lot of smart. I'm not a huge Cantlay guy, just putting it out there. A lot of smart people have been pushing Cantlay this week. So he's got, I think, 4 straight top 15s or 5 straight top 15s at US Opens. He's definitely a guy that what I do like about Cantlay is he's one of these guys that he might not do one thing great, but he doesn't really do anything bad, if that makes sense. So he's good off the tee. He's pretty good with his irons. He's good around the green. He's good with he's a good putter. He has had a lot of success putting on bent grass greens, which these are partially, and there's a mix of POA, which he's also had success on being a California guy. Cantlay makes a lot of sense, especially at the number. So I don't want to be the person to talk you off of Cantlay. Me personally, I'm not there with him, but I do like the number you're getting him at, and the potential upside there. Who are the other ones? I'm sorry.
Lowry.
Yep.
Don't even give me your opinion on Fleetwood. I don't know, because if it's positive,
okay.
Lowry and JT.
Yes. So Lowry is definitely interesting to me. The number I don't like. I really don't like the number, but Lowry makes a lot of sense. His best U.S. Open finish, you'll like this, Oakmont Country Club in 2016, the last time it was held here. He finished second, I'm pretty sure. If it wasn't second, it was like third or fourth. He's also a guy that I think plays these tree-lined, kind of thick, rough golf courses that you need to be a good ball striker on really well. Mm-hmm. The problem with me is is he going to win? If I bet Lowry, I'd probably bet a top 10 with him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Similar with Tommy. My also problem with Lowry and Tommy this week, and I'll use this to transition to at least one of the guys I bet.
Okay.
There's these guys who are not losers, but they constantly play well and they don't win on the PGA Tour, right? Like Corey Connors, right? Even Russell Henley, I'll put in there, or Shane Lowry's another one. Tommy Fleetwood. To me, why bet Tommy Fleetwood and Shane Lowry at 35 when I can bet Russell Henley, who is one guy I bet, at 80 to 1, when to me they're the exact same player, but I'm getting double the odds, if that makes sense. So this guy,
sure.
So that is one of the other guys I bet is Russell Henley. JT,
okay, so Bryson, Henley,
Bryson, Straka, Henley are my first 3 guys in.
Wow, you're on Straka.
Right. That was the guy I thought you might like. I
always like Straka.
Well,
I don't like Straka when he's the village whore, because he can't.
Okay,
he can't Although one time the only guy I hit this year was Straka, and BK keeps telling me he was very popular. Then I just forgot that. So
yeah,
I'm okay with Straka. Tell me why you like Straka.
He's on this upward. I truly think he's on this upward trajectory where he's morphing into a top 10 player in the world if he's not already there. He won Amex this year. The next step in my mind was to win an elevated event. Guess what? He goes to Philly Cricket Club, another course, by the way, that people are using as a big comp course to Oakmont this week, because it's an old school Northeast architecture golf course. A lot of people are using Philly Cricket as a comp. Lowry second at Philly Cricket. Straka won Philly Cricket. Straka's got big. He's got big finishes at big boy golf courses. He's got a second place at Oak Hill, which is a course that you don't want to be in the rough, and you need to be a good long iron player. Straka might not be long off the tee, but in my opinion, he is a top 3 iron player in the world at the moment, and he's able to make up for his lack of distance with how good of an iron player he is. I got him at 65 to 1. Not sure what numbers are still out there. I think he's still being priced at 40 to 50. And to me, he's another guy. If he's 50 to 1, why in the fucking world is Tommy Fleetwood 30 to 1 in my mind? That is the Sepp sell. I think if you're just looking, if you're running a model, as I like to do, there's not many players that look better in a model this week than Sepp do.
So, okay, I'm sold. Sepp's making my card. I might even fucking throw Idiot Lowry on there. I might take one guy at the top and call it a day. But do you have any long shots? Any other guys down the board? I know it's 10:35. We'll get you out of here pretty soon.
Yeah, Henley, I got it 80, which I really like that number. What I like about Henley is he won API this year, which is probably the most difficult normal PGA spot that you go to every year. Also, what I like about Henley is he can get himself out of trouble in my mind in a lot of different ways. I think Henley is underratedly one of the best around the green players in the entire world. Which I think he will put on display this week. Henley's got 4 top 25s in U.S. Opens. It's his best major that he plays in, generally speaking, and he's a guy that's going to be living in the fairways this week. So for all of those reasons, I like him. I think you bet him with a top 10. Me personally, that's what I'm going to do. I bet him outright. I'm also going to put a top 10 on him.
Okay.
And then who else was the last guy I bet is kind of like a funny. I like betting the futures markets. Brian always chirps me about it. I do go crazy at times, and I'll bet a lot of guys and just all that stuff. But I bet a 270 to 1 on Taylor Pendrith a year ago, basically. And that's been the one that I've been riding for. I think you can still get him at 150. I really do like it. Pendrith, the fit. Everybody's using, again, Winged Foot is one of the big comps. He had a great finish at Winged Foot. He had his best finish at a major at a PGA championship at Quail. He finished T8. His ball striking's out of this world. And if he can get the putter to cooperate and the around the green game to cooperate, which is a big ask for a guy who's 150, 270 to 1, I think he can firmly be in the mix. Another guy, if I did bet, I'd throw a top 10 on him as well. Me personally.
Kyle, excellent job, by the way.
Hey.
Great job. Good feedback in the chat. We might have a civil war in our hands between Kyle and BK moving forward. Kyle goated. Yes. Well done. Well, I'll say this. I was really coming into this kind of thinking to myself, I might go single bullet Rory. I might go single bullet Rahm. I got a little cooled off by that might make sense that Rory is that number in double digits, and maybe I'm not going to be the contrarian guy and go all in on him when nobody wants him. I still might stick to Rahm. I'm kind of thinking about Sepp and or Lowry. And then some guys down on the leaderboard that I feel like might be worth shots on, taking shots on. I don't know. I know Hovland's 55.
Yeah.
Griffin's playing really good golf. Why not on a guy who's 75 to 1? I don't know shit about the course fit necessarily. I heard Bobby Mack is kind of a cute long shot player at 100 to 1. Justin Rose is playing good golf, etc. Would there be one guy? I know you said you got Taylor at 270. You got Henley at 85. Would there be one more guy in that area? People were asking about fantasy golf rosters.
Yeah, I like BK's pick. I like Keegan. I think it's a great spot for Keegan. Keegan in the Northeast has his best finish ever at a U.S. Open was at Brookline, which some people have used as a little bit of a comp. I don't think they've said it's a number one comp, but it's a really long, difficult golf course in the Northeast. And Keegan's best finish at a U.S. Open just so happened to be there. You're in Pittsburgh. He's a Vermont guy. He's used to, I think, this agronomy. He's a guy who hits the ball really straight. His ball striking's been unbelievable, and I do think he has the upside to firmly mix in the tournament. I think there's a 90 to 1 available still for him on DraftKings. I think he's 80 to 1 on FanDuel. One other name I could give out, which is interesting, but what I don't like about this pick is that he doesn't have any big major finishes. But Maverick McNeely to me feels like he's kind of taken a step to become a player at the next level. He had a huge finish at Memorial, which is while it's not a major, it's a major-esque test. It's one of the more difficult golf courses on the PGA Tour. I think he's firmly in the mix for a Ryder Cup spot. He does everything well, which I like. Similar to Cantlay, he doesn't really have one thing he does great. I think the putter actually would probably be the thing you'd say is can run the hottest for him. Mm-hmm. But I do like Mav. I do like Keegan. And then another popular one, but it makes sense to me, is Harris English.
I've heard a lot of love on him.
He's checking a lot of boxes. Ben Coley does a big trend. He does a big trends piece for every single major. And Harris English was like the number 2 fit in terms of trends. Harris English sneakily has 3 top 10s at U.S. Opens. He had a second place finish at the PGA Championship. He's playing really good golf right now. So he's a guy, I don't like his path to victory would be him hitting a lot of fairways and gaining a ton of strokes with his putter, which I always talk about this in terms of paths to victory. Can he do that? Absolutely. Is that something I personally want to bet on, him gaining a ton of strokes with his putter, and that's the reason he wins the tournament? I'm not personally going to get there, but I do really like I do really like Harris English. He makes a lot of sense.
I can clap in this office pod. Nobody's going to hear me. Kyle, thank you for making the time. Appreciate it. Good luck this weekend. Thank you. You did a great job. Excellent feedback from the chat. We'll have you on again, definitely.
Appreciate it.
At some point. We'll have to do like a special pod or something. Good luck. I'll chat with you later. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend.
Yeah, we'll chat. We'll figure out who the rest of the card is. Enjoy chopping it up with you, and good luck as always, sir.
Thanks, man. You did a great job. Everybody,
Peace.
W Kyle in the chat. Well done, Kyle. I think for the most part, that was the best way anybody smart and analytical could break down their thinking and the course and the players and the capping to someone like myself who is a complete moron. So a formal request to replace BK. Yeah, lads, will you chill out? Why you can't be this sensitive about BK? I don't like BK. I don't like BK. I don't like BK. Wow, stop whining. So much fucking whining. W Kyle. Yeah, Kyle did great. Need MLB pick from Kyle. I'll tell you who you don't need an MLB pick from. Fucking me. I couldn't get on the right side of anything last night. I'm done with the Nationals, by the way. I'm done with the Nationals. Steak isn't here. Fuck Steak and his fucking, oh, you got to stick with it. No, fuck the Nationals. I'm fucking done with the Nationals. I'll tell you this. I took Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller pitched well. It wasn't Mitch Keller's fault. Sandy Alcantara might be back. Okay, Sandy Alcantara might be back. So I took the Pirates yesterday. They didn't win. Also, I took the Phillies. I took fucking McAble, whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, that was stupid. So, and kudos, BTL was on that over. I saw, I think the final was 8-4, 8-6, something like that. Great job. Those balls were flying out there. So nice job, anybody who had that over and followed into that Rita, the 9.5 being pretty high. I also took the Royals. I took the Royals and I took the fucking Astros. I didn't hit a side yesterday, but I did hit a 2-unit POD. I told you my favorite bet was the over in the Twins game, the Twins Rangers. And how about for the first time in the month of fucking June, I didn't have a winning day. I'm still losing every day in June. Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien comes through with the hits, runs, RBIs. If you saw my video on the Pickett account, that's who my guy was. So a little bit of a ladder there that came through and won a little bit of money off of. Ben Brown, yep, don't overreact to Sandy. The Pirates suck, donkey dick. True. Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, Flip. Nats first 5 free, cat meat pen. Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, Phils. I thought about that, but I was like, watch me get cute and it backfire. Didn't go full ladder, but that was profitable. Thank you very much. Start tailing Trent, and you would be out of the office the rest of June. Honestly, if you lose every day in June, it might be more impressive than winning every day in June. KW, I like your style. You're always the glass half full guy, I think, for the most part, when you comment and you give feedback. I like your style. Okay. I don't always want it nice, but I like that. This side was the Rangers. Wood Richardson got a huge zone and still couldn't get it done. He's so fucking bad. Yep. All right. Did I make it in time for the slate? Yes. Torque Day, yep. And listen, it was always the Tigers at a plus price. It was always the Tigers at a plus price. Fuck the Orioles. Fuck the odds makers who keep making the Orioles a favorite. I don't care who's pitching for the Tigers. I didn't get there with that pick, unfortunately. By the way, where the fuck is Cam's money? I could always rely on a Cam's money play to like kind of, take and tail and get me out of piss. Anyways, guys, while you're here, it's going to be a shorter stream than usual, but thank you for hanging out. Again, thank you to Kyle. I thought Kyle did an excellent job. Happy hour tonight. Happy hour tonight. Do you need me to tell you that? Did you need me to tell you that? You probably did, because we do bounce around from doing Thursdays and Wednesdays. But the stars align tonight. All right, the stars align tonight. Go over to Pickett, please. Oh, hold on 1 second. Go over to the Pickett YouTube page if you have not already. We'll go live. Okay, we will go live on Twitch and on Twitter just to notify you that we're going to be live. But we're going to talk the slate tonight at 4:30 Eastern, 4:30 to 6. Myself, Steak, and who's that other fucking idiot that's part of this thing? Oh yeah, Greg. Greg will be on there too. So we'll be talking ball. I have, for the most part, kind of have something I've already leaned into for the first 2 games of the NBA Finals, and that's TJ McConnell PRA. For whatever reason, Stakes, dumb idiot fuckface, was like, "Oh, I like the Pacers to win the series, but I don't like TJ McConnell to do anything." Moron. Now the guy's not here. I can tell you how I really feel about it. Moron. No, I'm just kidding. TJ McConnell PRA is going to be locked in. It's going to be a play for me. He's my Josh Hart of the NBA Finals. But the other guy I've been playing every game has not come through. Chet Holmgren over first quarter points, game 1, over 4.5. Nada. He had fucking 2 or 3 or whatever. It's game 2. He has like 11. No big deal. And then who is the other guy? Oh, Jalen Williams on threes. This guy, he had a great game last game. He didn't hit any 3. So we're gonna make a parlay. We're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna talk baseball. You didn't make a Twitter post? What are you talking about? Fat girls. Didn't make a Twitter post for what? For this stream? Logan, Terrorist, Allen. Kyle reposted the stream. Bang, Kyle. Great job again. Thank you. Simeon didn't go yard in that beatdown. So does that mean tonight is the night? Probably. Oh, I didn't know. I will. We typically tweet it a little bit later, but I wanted to at least tell the stream now so everybody in here knows. I am going to. I do have to shut it down. I do have to get a little bit core, but I would like to know before I do, what do you guys like? Obi Toppin threes, DJ Nuke it. That's what Steak likes every night. That's what he likes. I mean, yeah, I'm not against it. I'm not like the biggest Obi Toppin guy, but I'm not a hater by any means. Let's take a quick look at the board. Let's see if anything comes to me, okay? Let's see if anything comes to me. Hello again. We are in the office pod. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page if you haven't already. And if you're in Twitch, if you're just joining us, I see we just had about 7 people join. I am pinning the YouTube Pickett page. I'm sorry, the Pickett YouTube play. Well, I can't fucking speak. Go to the Pickett YouTube page, subscribe to it. You'll get notified. You should get notified whenever we go live tonight, 4:30. All right. Squad pod is Nats. If DJ is quitting, yeah, I bet you'd fucking like that, wouldn't you? Hello, DJ. It's Cam Young, first round leader. Fun fact, I hit a Cam Young first round leader years ago when I used to be able to hit bets for about $6,000. Although, full transparency, that wasn't fully my card. I split it with Bogey Party. And Greg was on that too. So it was about 2,500. Man, I miss hitting bets like that. I really do. I can't wait to get out of this rut. Henley, first round leader. Listen, I'm going to tell you what my card is as of right now. It's either Rahm or Rory. Okay, how's this card? Rahm, Ludd, Lowry, Keegan. Rahm, Ludd, Lowry, Keegan. No, you think so? Moose? Fuck, DJ, did you see the DK King of the Course promo for the Open? No, maybe I should do it, though. I should take a look. I'll have some time, too. Oh, and I'm going on Owner's Box today. Make sure you go to Owner's Box. We'll fuck around with Steak was supposed to go, but he had to bail. He had some shit to do. 1 second. Sap! That's probably too much. Yeah, I need Sap. About as good as your Nerfies. Hey, I fucking hit a Nerfie yesterday, Big Rob. Thank you very much. Somebody walked by as soon as I said that. You can't hear me though. I think it's soundproof. Ah! That's so funny being in these things. Okay. In all seriousness, let's take a quick look at the MLB board. And we've got a game at 12:35. Bailey Falter. Do I go back to the Pirates today? Cal Quantrill minus 155. Is Cal Quantrill going to get fucking touched up today? Tell me he is. Somebody give me something, please. I'm leaning on you. You guys come in here every day. You lean on me, not for plays, but for, entertainment. I'm leaning on you. I need something. I got to itch, and the only scratch, that's not the saying, but you know what I mean. I got to have something in this Pirates game. Brian Reynolds? Yeah, no shit. He might be back. Pirates should never be favorited that heavy unless skate. Right. Well, they were. So you know what I knew yesterday was fucked? Easy puck. Yes. Pair it with Bryson. Dude, that is some real degenerate shit. I love that. First 5 under O'Neill's Cruise back-to-back or your boy Reynolds. Yep. Okay, I have a thought. I have a play. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Bryan Reynolds. See what he did yesterday. Okay, so he was 2 for 5 with a triple, then he went 0 for 3 yesterday. But what do we know? We know that Sandy is back. Is Cal Quantrill back? No, fuck no. He's 3-6. He's 3-6. He said, ooh. Cal Quantrill's pitching really well. He is. Mm-hmm. Bryan Reynolds, 4 for 10. Bryan Reynolds hits, runs, RBIs. Pirates don't win the season on Wednesday day games. I love stupid fucking trends like that. Pirates have one on a Wednesday, so I think you should back them. You're probably right. Tail Trent's daytime, Fugazi 4. Why do you keep telling me that? Big Rob? I'm not going to tail Trent's Fugazi 4. I'm not going to fade it either. Now, I'll tail something, but I'm not tailing a fucking 14 parlay. I'm just not. I hope Trent wins, though. You know I like Trent. I hope he's... Ow, God. I pinpointed the pain on my knee. It's on the top left kneecap. Feels like something's in there. What the fuck? Astros Nats 2-teamer is hitting today, D-Gen. Well, considering that I bet both of those fucking teams yesterday and they lost, you're probably right. Okay. I'm going Bryan Reynolds. Because Bryan Reynolds is just my guy. I'm just a fucking Bryan Reynolds guy. All right, deal with it. Steak doesn't like it, but you know what? Steak's not here. He can get fucked. I'm going Bryan Reynolds. Game 2 of the day. Jesus Luzardo. He's minus 107. Not fading the Cubs anymore, but that means it's probably the Phillies. 110. You got the Guardians. Nick Lodolo. You can't fade the Reds right now. The Reds are dogs. Schwellenbach. I think the Braves lost, so I was wrong about that being a get-right series. Liberatore is minus 130 against the Jays. You can't fade the Jays right now. You cannot fade the Jays. Dude, did the Mariners lose again last night? Oh, my God. The Mariners win total over is so dead. Fuck. Man, the Diamondbacks are locked in, aren't they? Are the Diamondbacks locked in? No, they just got swept by the fuck. What am I talking about? They just got swept. All right, that's it. Oh, good. And then we have some games for tonight for the happy hour. Got the Rays to talk about. Angels and Athletics. No. Did Brent Rooker go off for you guys yesterday, or did he fuck everybody over? I'm sure he probably hit his bases, but did he hit his hits, runs, RBIs? What did he do? Nope. Oh, he did. He went over. He had 1 hit, 1 RBI. That cocksucker. Can't say that on. By the way, you can't say that on TikTok. In case you were wondering, you cannot say cocksucker on TikTok. Okay. Are you locked in a cubicle? No, I'm in one of those booths. So soundproof booths. I'm at the office today. Got to be corp. Great job. Great U.S. Open talk with Kyle. Thank you to Kyle for joining. He did an excellent job. Great feedback, chat, except for the Bucknut for some reason was not being very nice or friendly. So he had to get timed out. He said I was a dictator. No, just respectful. Try to teach you young generation fuckers some manners. Forgot to ask you this earlier. Thoughts on Kreider to the Ducks? I heard that might happen. It's unfortunate, but I don't mind it. You got to shake some things up. The roster is just not cooking. You got to shake some things up. Honestly, they should split up fucking Mika and Panarin too. We'll talk more about that. The Orioles are I'm not reading that. All right, guys. Have a great day. Good luck on your bets. I'll chat with you later. Happy hour tonight on the Pickett YouTube channel, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. I will tweet about it, and I'll see you on Owner's Box at noon. All right. I'll check you guys later. Have a great day. Peace.